Washington's homeless population is on the rise, according to a recent report by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it's largely driven by Seattle and King County. The number of Washingtonians who are unsheltered, in vehicles or in temporary shelter grew by 10% from 2020 to 2022, increasing by 2,288 people. Slightly more than 70% of that growth came from Seattle and King County, according to Part 1 of HUD's 2022 Annual Homelessness Assessment Report. Local experts, though, say those numbers should be treated with some skepticism because much of its data comes from the annual point-in-time count, which is known for being an undercount. Aware of these flaws, King County's Department of Community and Human Services ran a cross-system analysis across several homelessness data sources to estimate that 45,300 people experienced homelessness during 2019 and 40,800 people experienced homelessness at some point in 2020. Ann Martins, spokesperson for the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, said Washington's Department of Commerce most recently estimated that at least 53,500 people experienced homelessness in King County in 2022. That number is unacceptable, Martins said. Roughly 582,500 people were found to be experiencing homelessness in the United States during the 2022 count, a 0.3% increase. Some places saw more extreme percentage increases than Washington, though their overall numbers are still smaller. Seattle and King County's homeless population grew by 32% during that same time period. I mean, we're still having a big issue in Washington and California, but there are other cities that are starting to see more pressures, said Greg Colburn, a University of Washington professor. Across the state's 6 continuums of care, which are local planning bodies responsible for coordinating homeless services in a geographic area, Vancouver, Washington, and Clark County saw the biggest percentage increase over the 2-year period. The homeless population there grew by nearly 31% from 916 in 2020 to 1,197 in 2022. The level of need continues to outstrip available resources, according to Ted Kelleher, Housing Policy Director for the Washington Department of Commerce, which oversees the state's response to homelessness. Nationally, some groups saw homeless rates decrease anywhere from 6% to 12%, including families with children, unaccompanied youths and veterans. In Washington, homelessness rates decreased for minors and young adults ages 18 to 24, but grew for adults over age 24. The rising rental and housing costs in Washington is a major driver of the increase in homelessness statewide. We continue to not have sufficient housing for people with moderate to low incomes. Within 1 year, median home prices in Washington grew 23.9% from 2020 to 2021, according to the Washington Office of Financial Management. The last decade saw significant price increases, with median home costs more than doubling from $223,900 in 2011 to $560,400 in 2021. The city of Seattle has spent nearly $1 billion on homelessness in more than a decade, and the number of unsheltered people continues to rise. Between 2013 and 2018, the city spent a minimum of $33.5 million on HSD contracts. After then-Mayor Ed Murray declared a homelessness state of emergency in 2015, the spending started to rise. By 2018, the citywide budget ballooned to $85.2 million. By 2021, that number had doubled to $166.48 million. The city started tracking the homelessness budget, including labor, in 2018. The totals do not reflect unspent amounts carried forward from a previous year into another year, but they also do not include other housing levies or spending on affordable housing. During that 11-year period, the Regional Homelessness Authority's point-in-time (PIT) count, which was handled by different organizations over the years, shows the number of people experiencing homelessness or staying in a shelter in Seattle and King County was higher than ever. There were 13,368 people experiencing homelessness in King County in 2022, according to the PIT results. That number was less than 9,000 in 2012. Plan to reduce homelessness in downtown Seattle picks up after slow start. 1 year into an ambitious plan to house everyone living on the streets of downtown Seattle and the Chinatown International District, less than 10% of those people are in long-term housing. Last February, The King County Regional Homelessness Authority raised $10 million in donations from private companies and foundations for a project called Partnership for Zero, with the idea that if the agency had success alleviating visible homelessness downtown, it could use the model across King County. The effort's funders include Amazon, Starbucks, Microsoft Philanthropies, billionaires Steve and Connie Ballmer and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The authority acknowledges it has taken longer than it expected to hire and train staff, create new systems and get the initiative off the ground. Now, the initiative is fully operational and people are starting to move inside. Nearly 60 people have moved from the streets of downtown into long-term housing as of February, the authority said. Stakeholders are patient and optimistic, but some say the amount of progress made so far has been disappointing. I think we're all frustrated with where we're at, and that we haven't been able to make faster progress, said John Scholes, CEO and president of the Downtown Seattle Association. Tanya Wu, a small business owner in the Chinatown International District and a Seattle City Council candidate, said she has seen the unhoused population in her neighborhood grow. "We're not seeing any changes. We're not seeing any results," Wu said of the authority's efforts. Despite Florida's progress on homelessness, the state still has the nation's third highest homeless population, with 30,959 people being counted in 2022. At the same time, there are signs that Florida's housing market could leave many cost-burdened households behind. There is a growing concern that Florida could experience a significant rise in homelessness in 2023. In this video, we will explore the factors contributing to this potential increase and discuss what can be done to prevent it. One of the factors is the lack of government support for social programs that help the homeless. This has resulted in a lack of funding for shelters, addiction treatment programs, and mental health services. The state of Florida has a significant homeless population that has been steadily increasing over the years. The National Alliance to End Homelessness reported that as of January 2018, there were over 24,000 homeless people in Florida. The lack of affordable housing, high unemployment rates, and economic instability have played a significant role in this increase. As the number of people experiencing homelessness increases across the country, more cities and states have passed laws making it illegal to live out of tents and cars or sleep in public spaces. More than 100 jurisdictions have had such bans on the books for years, according to the National Homelessness Law Center. In recent months, high-profile measures have been approved targeting homelessness in many western U.S.